start with centering and breathing. So you can just have your body in a comfortable position. I like to sit a little bit forward of the chair instead of leaning back, and that makes those core muscles work just a little bit to hold you upright. If at any time you get tired, those back muscles start aching, then by all means lean back. Otherwise, let's sit tall for a moment. Just tune into your breath. And let the inhale and the exhale be approximately the same length. You can either say something like, now I'm inhaling, now I'm exhaling. That is about the same length, or you can count your breaths, your like the number of seconds. And let's try to lengthen the breath just a little bit longer, both aspects, both the inhale and the exhale. And if you're saying something, you can just add a word like longer. Now I'm inhaling longer. Now I'm exhaling longer. Or add a couple of seconds to your breath. Even just a few breaths like that can really help center you and hopefully calm you. If you take the breath too long for what feels comfortable, you can actually create some frustration or agitation. And so you don't want to take it too long. So keep it in a range that feels comfortable where it's quite doable, and it almost just feels sort of uplifting, energizing perhaps, but not agitating. So when you lengthen the breath, don't lengthen it too much. So I said 2 seconds, but you could just add 1 second and that would still be lengthening it. All right, let's start to move the body a bit. We'll start with 6 directions of the spine. So you will need to scoot forward a little bit so you have room to round the spine backward toward your chair, and you can drop the chin down. That's your exhale. And on the inhale, you'll do a little baby back bend. Just going back and forth between those two movements. Exhaling is the rounded spine, inhaling is the back bend. You might notice how the pelvis rocks back and forth, opening in the hip, and your head moving. It's also working through the other end of the spine. So we're working the whole body here. All right, so those are 2 directions, that forward and backward movement. The next two we'll do are the twists. So we'll start with the arms out as wide as you like. And on the exhale, bring the opposite hand to the knee. Inhale, come back to center. And other side on the next exhale. And we'll go back and forth like that a couple times. Exhale, twist. Inhale to center. All right, when you're even on both sides and you've come back to center, just let the arms rest down and pause for a moment. The last 2 directions, so that was 2 more directions, a twist to the left and a twist to the right. And the last 2 directions for our 6 directions will be the laterals. And if you have blocks, go ahead and put those in place so you can easily land on it. If you don't have blocks, we're going to start without them. with hands to the hips, but you can also perhaps use some part of a chair leg, or if you have a crossbar there, maybe landing on that. My chair doesn't have those crossbars, whatever you call those things. So let's start with the hands on the hips, and on the inhale, we'll lengthen up, get a long spine. Then exhale, a lateral over to one side, leaning over to one side. Inhale right back up to center. And other side on the next exhale. And we'll go back and forth like that. And if you'd like to take that arm further down the chair or landing on your block, feel free. These 6 directions of the spine are one of the things to aim for, moving your spine like that every day. So if you can remember those 6 directions, really it's 3 uh, pairs. So if you can remember the pairs, the forward and back, a twist to each side, and then the laterals. And that really helps that spine stay in good health. All right, we're gonna take the arms in just a little bit more movement. So we already did this movement with the twist, the arms out. Let's take some different range of motion, perhaps a little higher, or you could go further back behind you. You could go lower and back, higher and back, any movement that you like. So when the arms expand out, that will be your inhale. Exhale, bring the arms back down. Nice and easy, not overdoing it. And if you've got any aches or pains in the shoulder, don't go into that. Just you can just do one arm at a time. If it's only one shoulder, that is. Exhale back to center. All right, let's pause the shoulders and let's give them a little roll around. Loosen them up a little bit. We're going to come to the head. So on the exhale, drop the head down, not forcing it down. Don't push, but just release the head forward. Inhale back to center. Just pause there. Next exhale, we'll take the ear toward one shoulder, again, not forcing or straining. Inhale back to center. Other side. Back to center. And turn the nose over to one side and back to center. So basically, we're doing the 6 directions, but just of the head. And we'll do the upward movement. Inhale. When you take the head up, don't uh, think about putting a crease in the back of the neck. So you're not just lifting the chin, but you want to lift the back of the neck as well when you're doing that. So not just to fold the neck in half backwards. So keep a nice long neck, kind of like a turtle stretching its head out of the shell before he can take his head up. All right, let's do those 6 directions again. Releasing down, exhale, inhale to neutral, ear toward one shoulder, back to neutral, exhale to the other shoulder, ear to shoulder, back to center. The head goes in a twist, looking over one shoulder, inhale to center, other side, inhale to center, and we'll look up. Remember to stretch the back of the neck too, and back to center. And that looking up is very important. Most of us have our heads forward and down. Most of the day we look down, cooking, working at our desk, reading, all kinds of things have us looking down. So it's important to look up and do that often. Go out, look at the sky, look at the clouds, but ensure that you're lengthening the back of the neck as well. All right, let's do one more. Lengthening up and back. Let's start a sun salute, a chair sun salute. And in that, we're going to look up and also take the arms up. So before we do the sun salute, let's do that movement. So as you take your arms up, look up, but remember to stretch the back of your neck. And then exhale, you can just do a rounded spine. Now let's repeat that. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, back down. Let's imagine that there's eyes in the back of your neck, right below the skull, where the skull meets the neck. Imagine there's eyes there that need to stay open to see what's behind you. I always wished you had eyes in the back of your head. This will be in the back of the neck, slightly different. And so when you take your head up, you want to keep those eyes open. So try not to crease there and close those eyes. So keep that back neck, those back eyes open. Let's repeat that again. Inhale, looking up and back down and up again and back down. One more. All right. And so that's the first movement of the sun salute. We'll have that looking up, arms can go up. And then the exhale movement, you can do what we were doing there, rounded spine, or you can fold a little bit at the hip hinge and land your elbows to your thighs. And so this one is not a rounded spine. So the first one was a rounded spine. This one is more a straight back, flat back coming over. And if that's easy for you and you'd like to go further, by all means, you can start your hands down the legs towards you, towards your feet. So land any of those forward fold movements that feels comfortable for you, from the sort of the rounded spine, landing on the elbows, or deeper as comfortable for you. So those are the first couple of movements. And then a lunge is part of the sun salute. And we're going to do that in a chair by bringing the heel up on one leg and your hands interlace behind the thigh. And I'm just going to take it further and further. And this may be your lunge right here, or you can lean back and bring that leg with you. And then you can stretch the leg forward as much as you like, stretching that leg towards straight. That'll be the lunge. Let's just do those few movements and then we'll add on as we go. All right, so it's our first position. Just exhale here and then inhale, looking up. Your choice of your forward fold. And then the lunge, hands behind one leg, and taking that leg as far up as you like. And then we'll put that leg down and do the other side, lunging on the other side. Forward fold over your legs. All the way up, arms up, look up. And back to start. Let's repeat that again. Inhaling up. Forward fold. A lunge. Forward fold. All the way up. And back to start. So you might have noticed that we went through pose, a pose, a pose, a pose, and then we went backwards through those. So the lunge was sort of the end of the routine, and then we went backwards and did a lunge on the other side and back through. So instead of doing that after the lunge, we're going to do a downward dog in a chair. So you'll stretch one leg forward, maybe both if comfortable, as long as your chair is stable and not tippy. And your hands can either stay on the chair or you can take your arms up in a downward dog type movement. This is one variation. The other variation is to keep the hands down and actually press into your hands, and as though you're going to lift your hips up, so you get a little arm strengthening workout, which is also part of downward dog. So it's both a shoulder stretch and an arm strengthener. And since we're going to do downward dog twice in one cycle of the in one piece of the sun salute, you could do one way going through and one way on the way back. And then after downward dog, we'll put a little back bend in there, which will be just to arch back and roll those collarbones up. So that will make our full sun salute when we add those last two poses on, the downward dog and a back bend. Ready? Exhale here at our start. Inhaling, up you go. Exhaling, over you go, fold over your legs. And then lunging, pick a leg, any leg. Take it as far as you like. And then we're going to take downward dog. So stretch one or both legs out. If you're stretching just one leg at a time to keep stability in the chair, just keep track of which leg you do. So let's do the shoulder opener first, and then a back bend. Your legs can be bent or straight for the back bend. You're emphasizing a back bend in your upper spine. And then the downward dog of the arm strengthening, pressing into the chair using your arms a little bit. And let's see, that was our downward dog. So now we'll take the lunge on the other side and folding over your legs. That's your exhale. All the way up, arms up, and back to start. And we'll repeat that. Inhaling, going up. Exhaling, forward fold. Lunge. I'm changing the leg I started with. Downward dog. Let's do the shoulder opener. And then the back bend. And then the arm strengthener. And then the lunge on the other leg. Fold over the legs. Exhale. All the way up, arms up. And back to start. All right, so that sun salute is an overall body movement. So it's the start position is 1, arms up is 2, a forward fold is 3, the lunge is 4, downward dog is 5, and the back bend is 6. So it's 6 poses, and then you come back through it. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you only do the back bend once, and then come back through those as you come back to start. All right, let's play with the legs now. So we'll bring in the sliders. Let's just start with the slider under one foot and sit kind of forward in your chair and stretch that leg forward, leg going towards straight on your inhale, and then bend the knee on the exhale. So slide that foot back in. And begin to take the leg out toward the side. Exhale when it bends, inhale when it goes towards straight. And it's just going as straight as it's willing to go today, and out toward the side as much as comfortable for you. Some of the time the foot can be pointed, and some of the time the foot flexed. I like to flex mine more because my calves are tight. I do a lot of walking and hiking, and my calves are almost always tight, so I need to flex more. All right, pick one of those spokes to stay on, and we'll point and flex from there. And then circle the ankle around a couple of times in each direction. Flex the foot, spread the toes, curl the toes forward, spread them apart again, curl the toes forward, spread them apart again, and then go ahead and bend that knee in and out as you bring the leg back up toward the top. And we'll change legs. Switch over to the other leg. We'll do the same thing over there, bending and straightening. Straightening on the inhale, exhale, it bends. And beginning to take the leg out toward the side. All right, and then find one of those spokes that feels comfortable, sort of more in the middle, and point and flex there. Twirl that ankle around a couple of times in each direction. So this bending and straightening of the knee is good for the knees. It helps if there's anything that got a little misaligned to just bend and straighten it, sliding it like that in a non-weight bearing way. Hold it in the flex, spread the toes, curl the toes forward, Spread the toes again, curl the toes again. One more time flexing, and then work your way back up to the top. All right, let's go for both legs at the same time. So you may need to keep your hands on your chair. My chair is pretty stable, so I don't need to, but you may need to keep your hands helping to hold your chair in place. And we'll take both legs out and in at the same time. This is the inhale, exhale when you bend. Inhale, the legs go out towards straight. Exhale, bending. All right, we're going to take the legs just a little bit wider apart next time they go out and turn the toes out and in, out and in, and keep the knees a little bit soft. So this should not torque or tweak in the knees at all. If so, you're possibly just doing it too much, going too past your current capacity, and or you're doing it more from the knee instead of from the rotators in your hip. So you want your hip rotators to do this action, and the knees and the feet just follow along. All right, line them up, point and flex. When you do both the point and the flex, let the knees be a little bit bent. Either side of that. All right, and then go ahead and bend the knees and slide the feet back in and out, a couple of times out and in. All right, another thing that's nice for the knees is to create a little space in the knee joint. And we're going to do that by lifting up one leg and putting the fist of your opposite hand behind that, in the back of that knee, and then fold the leg over your fist. And it's, I've got my fist kind of opened a little bit, so I'm not like all, let's see, not real tight closed, but open it a little bit. So it's kind of like the E in sign language, if you know sign language. And then holding that leg, when you feel in the back of the knee, you feel those cordy hamstring tendons. Pull on those hamstring tendons and pull them back and kind of toward your shoulders, back and apart. And then just let the foot kind of go dangle back and forth a little bit, not all the way straight, not all the way bent, holding those hamstring tendons, and that helps to open the knee. So let's do both of those on this side. So one is to lean back, take the opposite hand in the back of the knee, a loose fist, and pull the shin in over top of that fist. And that helps to think of pushing your shin bone forward, which will create space in your knee, the knee joint. And then holding behind the back of the knee, find those hamstring tendons, pull them back and apart, and just let your foot dangle a little bit. This is also a little arm strengthening work. Maybe you feel your arms are working because they have to pick up the weight of your leg. All right. Let's come back to one leg, one foot, and we're going to make a circle with the leg. So here, you don't want to make it just with your foot and not just with the knee, but really think about your hip is what's creating the circle. So the whole leg is making a circle and go in both directions. Like kind of like you're stirring a pot, and this whole leg is the apparatus that stirs, not just the foot whirling around, not just the knee making the movement, but the whole leg is kind of like one part, and it goes around in the pot. New kind of stir. All right. Do that again on both sides. I forgot to say go in both directions, so let's make sure we do that. So imagine that this knee doesn't really bend, like this is a metal spoon it's a funky spoon with a bend in it, and maybe the pot is just really steaming hot, and so you have to hold the handle of the spoon where your hip is and stir the pot from there. Really try to get that whole leg without the knee bending. So you don't want to fold your foot in. So keep that whole leg stirring and go in the opposite direction. That's a leg strengthener. And let's do that on the other side. Hopefully you feel those leg muscles trying to figure out how to do this without bending the knee. So you really want to try not to bend the knee, but make the whole leg work as one unit, opposite direction. All right. Hopefully that feels even for you. Let's turn to the side of the chair, and you can go just to the corner or all the way over to one side, and you'll need your slider on the leg that's closest to the screen here, to the front of the chair. And we're going to take the in and out movements toward the back side of the spokes of the bicycle or wagon wheel or whatever we imagine here. So before we did the spokes on that front part, now we're going to aim for these ones on the back, and feel free to turn the foot in different directions. Use different muscles there. All right, even taking the legs straight back behind you in a sort of a more typical lunge, and your toes can be tucked under or top of the toes on the foot, doesn't matter. Now pick one of those spokes and stay on that, land on that for a moment, and turn your torso toward your bent knee. Maybe an exhale over that leg and inhale back up, and then bend the back knee. All right, let's do that over on the other side. So work your way around to the other side, either right at the corner or all the way around to the side of the chair. And that leg that's closest toward the screen here needs to be on the slider. And let that leg go out and in. Out is your inhale. Exhale is when you bend the knee back in. And finding different angles there, different stretches in your hip. And down that leg. And even going straight back, because you'll get into the front of the hip, your hip flexors. And then pick one of those spokes to land on, stay there, and turn toward the bent knee. Exhale, folding forward, inhale back up. All right, and then unwind, bringing the legs back in to face forward. We'll take a little cat-cow here, just rounding the spine, and inhale a back bend. All right, we're warmed up to do some standing poses in a chair. So let's take those next. So you can be on that corner of your chair again, or you can turn all the way over to the side of the chair. And you'll need your slider there for that leg that's closest toward the screen. And so if you sit on the chair so that that leg closest to the screen can clear the front of the chair and stretch back, or any of those spokes. So again, let's warm the leg up out and in, and you're finding a spoke toward the back end of that. I'm going to take mine straight back to get a stretch in my hip flexor. You can be on any spoke out that way. And then turn toward your bent knee. Exhale. And on an inhale, take the arms up for warrior one. And then turning sideways, lower the arms shoulder height for warrior two. You can look over your front fingertips. And then let that back arm drop down toward the chair or your back leg, and take the front arm up. You can look up if you like. Remember those back eyes at the back of the neck, keep them open. And then bring that arm down and to the thigh. The other arm can go up anywhere. And then we'll work our way back to warrior two. Facing the front knee, arms up for warrior one, and relax the arms down, bend the back knee, and we'll do all of those over on the other side. Work your way over to the other side. Remember, you'll need your thing to slide on. Slide your foot on, either at that corner or all the way over to the side, and get your slider there under your front foot, and that front leg needs to clear the front of the chair. Keep adjusting yourself on the chair till you get yourself in the right spot. Exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, stretch that leg out anywhere toward the back side. Find a spot there to stay on, and then turn the torso toward facing your front knee. Exhale. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. And then the back arm will drop down toward the chair or your back leg, front arm up. And come back to warrior two. And then elbow to thigh. Top arm can go up anywhere, straight up toward the ceiling, or it can be at your hip, whatever's comfortable for you. Then come back to warrior two and warrior one. Arms down, back knee bends. And turn to face forward, and you'll need both sliders in under your feet. We'll do both legs at the same time. So both legs out on the inhale, exhale, bend them back in. That should help counterpose the legs from all that work, holding that pose for that length of time. See how your legs feel now. All right, and then let's do the spine, which we'll just do a cat-cow here. Exhale, a rounded spine. Inhale, a back bend. And repeat. Okay. All right, let's go back to the first side. And we'll do those same poses, but we're going to pick a couple of them that we're going to hold or stay in for a breath or more. All right, so back to the first side. Set your back leg where you like it. Turn to face your front leg, and inhaling, warrior one. We'll stay here for a breath. So we come into it on an inhale, then you exhale, inhale again, maybe deepen it a little. And then exhale, go into warrior two. Arms drop to shoulder height, turn your head over the front fingertips. Inhale and exhale. And then bring the elbow to the thigh, top arm up, and we'll hold this one. So we're going to skip the reverse angle warrior pose. Keep breathing. And then we'll come back to warrior two and hold for a breath or more. Bring the back arm to join the front arm. Exhaling. And then arms up. You can cactus pose the arms for warrior one. Arms up a little higher maybe. And then release. And walk yourself around to the other side. And we'll do some of those, we'll do those poses again on this side. Remember, you need your slider on your front foot, the leg that's toward the screen, that is. And go ahead and set that leg now as the back foot in your standing pose. And turn to face your front knee. Exhale. Inhaling warrior one. Staying for a breath. Maybe on the next inhale, deepen the pose a little. And then exhaling warrior two. Exhaling flank stretch. Back to warrior two. On an exhale, the back arm will join the front arm. Inhale the arms up for warrior one. And then release. And again, turn to face the front. And we're going to take instead, you can either do cat-cow or elbows to the thighs and arms up. So this will be the inhale for both movements, and either you're doing that cat pose or elbows to thighs on the exhale. And I'm going to do a combo of each. And the idea is for this to counter, sometimes when we do those standing poses, we don't always do them evenly on both sides, and sometimes we can tweak a SI joint or something. So hopefully this will help reset things and kind of square everything back up. Right, let's further that with our legs going out and in again. Bring your sliders in, and we'll take the legs out on the inhale and back in on the exhale. And you can take one leg out toward the side if you like, back in, and then the other leg going out and back in, something like that. Or if comfortable, both legs out and back in, anything like that. And if you're doing that sort of one leg at a time out, it's not considered symmetrical. One leg's doing something different from the other. So you will need to make sure you end with some symmetrical ones. Let's go through one more time. Asymmetrical. And as you're doing this, you're kind of feeling, do my hips and my legs all feel even? Is everybody back to even Steven? So even it up if you were doing any asymmetrical things, and just take the legs out and in a few times. Some of the time you can point, some of the time flex. All right, and then we'll let the arms get a little countering as well. So let the arms just be loose and free, and give them a little shake. And let's lean forward on our legs and just let one arm dangle down. Circle it around, again, kind of like stirring the pot. And then reverse directions. And then make sure you can clear your chair and just swing the arm forward and back. And then we'll do the same thing over on the other side. Shake it loose and then circle. And reverse. And swing. All right, and back to neutral. And we'll take the arms in various angles from the body. Inhaling as the arms stretch out, exhaling as they come in. Sometimes high, sometimes back behind you, sometimes low. Nice and easy. Range of motion needs to be comfortable for you. So some folks' arms don't like to go straight up in front. They have to go out to the side. So you just honor what your body's capacity is for you. All right, so let's just pause for a moment and see how the body feels. So we covered all the major muscle groups, so the whole body should feel a little bit worked. All right, so let's come to the eyes and fingers. Let's do the fingers first. I'm gonna scooch forward so you can see this better. We'll do finger slides. I'll show you. Put that down so you can see my fingers. I'll turn a little bit sideways. So let's start with the thumb and the index finger touching. And actually, you can just do this on one hand at a time. With the tips of the thumb and finger together, exhale. And then on the inhale, slide the thumb down the finger. Exhale, go back to the tip and give a little flick. And go to the next finger, your middle finger. Inhale, slide down. Exhale, back to the tip and flick. Next finger. Exhale to the tip. Pinky. And then we'll do the same on the other side. Just go at pace with your breath, which may be faster or slower than mine. If you finish before me, just wait and we'll do the next thing in just a moment. And you can certainly do both hands at the same time on your own. It's a nice thing. It helps calm the nervous system. Very calming, very relaxing. It also can help relieve nerve pain, no matter where it is in the body. It doesn't have to be in the fingers or arms or anything. All right, the next thing we'll do is palming of the eyes. So we'll start with um, spine upright. And on the exhale, round the spine and cup your palms over your eyes. As your exhale. Inhale, slide the hands down, and the spine goes up just a little bit. Don't overdo it. And repeat. Exhale, rounded spine, palming. Inhale, release. Keep going. And so if it's really comfortable when you palm and you want to stay there, we'll do that. And if it's not comfortable, keep going in and out of it dynamically like we were doing. Otherwise, when you're palming the eyes, really see if you can block out all the light. When all the light is blocked out, it helps those eye muscles really release and relax. You're not pushing on the eyeballs, you're cupping over them. All right, and then to come out of this, so you don't want to jar the nervous system, which we've just spent this time calming and quieting. So gently slide the hands down until the fingers cover the eyes and spread the fingers a little bit wider and wider. So you let the light come through the eyelids first, and then you can blink a couple times as you get used um, to the light. All right, and then we'll again sit tall, feet on the floor, sit comfortable. If you can sit without your back resting in the chair back, great. If at any time you need to lean back into the chair, by all means do. And we'll again come to the breath, and that you can say to yourself, now I'm inhaling, now I'm exhaling, or count the length of your breath. And again, get the breath back to that even breath where the inhale equals the exhale. So if you can get the breath to go a little bit longer, you can either add seconds, one or more seconds, or add a word or more. So if you're saying to yourself, now I'm exhaling, you would say, now I'm exhaling longer, or if you can go even longer, now I'm exhaling even longer, or even longer still, something like that will keep lengthening that exhale. Both inhale and the exhale longer. And so when both the inhale and the exhale get longer, it should be more invigorating, getting this deeper, bigger breath. And so we want to end with a calming breath, which is to make only the exhale longer. So if you're saying something, you'll just make your inhale be, now I'm inhaling. That's it. And the exhale can be as long as you like. Now I'm exhaling even longer still. As many of those words that you'd like to add on, feel free. Otherwise, if you're counting, maybe make the inhale half the length of the exhale. So if you're inhaling for 2, exhale for 4. If you're inhaling for 3, exhale for 6, that kind of thing. All right, hopefully you can tell that that was making you feel calmer as you got that exhale longer. You can slowly bring yourself back up, maybe do that cat-cow again, or slowly wake your body up. And your eyes are closed, you could open them. And I thank you. Namaste, Om Shanti. Thank you. And thanks to You Call This Yoga for making these classes happen for you for free.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, JJ.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
JJ.
Thank
Namaste.
you. Namaste.